Hi guys, it's Eon here. Today I'm going to talk to you about automatic negative thoughts. In the last video that I did, I spoke about overcoming depression or trying to overcome depression. I mentioned CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, something like that, which basically means sort of unwiring your brain and then rewiring it back in order. Now, most people need to do this because they have automatic negative thoughts, or A.N.T.S, as they are also known. Not the little things, but automatic negative thoughts. You know, it's one of those, we like to give things neat little anachronisms? I can't remember what it's called. That's probably not important. Anyway, I have notes. I actually have an essay, but there's no fucking way that I'm going to sit here like a newscaster and read it out to you. So this is like a condensed version of lots of stuff. There are 10 ants. That lets you know I'm not talking about the insects because there's way more than 10 of them. There are 10 ants. It is very unusual for somebody to have all 10, and if you do have all 10, then you get a prize. You don't get a prize. Okay, so let's go through them one by one. Some of them are very sort of similar to each other, so, you know, I'll mention that. First one is black and white thinking. Now this is one of my own personal ants, and this is where you don't see the shades of grey. It's either, it's Yoda speak, it's do or do not, there is no try. And although that is quite a good internal motivator, it doesn't actually reflect real life, because real life isn't black or white, it is shades of grey. So let's take, for example, my band. When I was a young cocky little shit, basically my thing was I'm either going to become the biggest rock star in the world or forget the whole fucking thing, I don't want to do it. Now, I didn't become the biggest rock star in the whole fucking world, but I did become like a teeny weeny little rock something and thoroughly enjoyed myself in the process. So that's an opportunity that I would not have given myself if I actually stuck to that black and white thinking. And that's my example. I'm sure that you can think of examples yourself to do with your life where you impose that rigid thinking upon yourself. So remember, the world is full of different shades of grey, and black and white thinking is completely unnecessary and wrong. Next. Let's turn the page. I'm not very good at this, but that's okay. You don't expect perfection from me, and that's probably in one of these black and white, not black and white, ant things, fuck's sake. I've got a new rule, I'm not going to edit. Catastrophizing. A tiny mole doesn't have to be skin cancer. It's that kind of thing. If you're in a car, you hear a little knocking sound, that doesn't mean that the whole car's going to explode in 2 seconds' time. Wait and see what the outcome is. Now, the problem is you may think, yeah, so what if I do that? But during that period of time, you're causing yourself stress and misery and worry, and it's completely unnecessary. Wait and see what the outcome is, then get stressed and worried about it. The rest of the time, just don't. Okay. Emotional reasoning. That is when you mistake a negative thought about yourself as being fact. My personal example of this would be to do with the slight body dysmorphic anti-function thing that I have going on, whereby I look at myself and I am a chap of a particular age who's probably in better shape than most chaps of a similar age, and yet I will look at myself, see a tiny little bit of fat, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm Jabba the Hutt. It's body dysmorphia, and I am mistaking something that I think about myself or something that I think as fact. And, you know, that's not always the case. My microwave's beeping in case you can hear that. I have some fish. Anything else in there that's... Oh yeah, like you might think that you're ugly. Well, maybe other people don't think that you're ugly. So, you know, that's emotional reasoning. What we got next? Filtering. Filtering is when you concentrate on the negative in any situation. Start again. I said no edit, so that's that. mistake. That's fucking staying in, man. What was I talking about? This is what it's like to have a conversation with me. If I could edit real life conversations, then I'd probably be more inclined to edit these, but who needs that shit? Filtering is when you concentrate on the negative, ignoring any positive in a situation. I used to do that with reviews. I would see a review about my band. I would see lots of reviews about my band, and 9 of them could say, this band is absolutely fucking wonderful. I love this album. And then one twonk comes along and says, this is shit. I don't like this. And that's the review that I believe. And again, that is something where you can find your own analogy to apply to your own meagre existence upon this planet. What might that be? I really should edit, shouldn't I? Yeah, so try not to dwell on the bad stuff. Fortune-telling error. This is where you brush aside fact or evidence because you presume to already know the outcome. Let's say, for example, that you might think that your boyfriend / girlfriend is cheating on you, and you can find yourself, put the teeth back in, getting very, very angry about that situation, and yet, if you don't actually know the facts, what's the point? I guess that's the whole thing. What's the point of getting wound up about something where you don't know the outcome? It is what it is, that whole Tony Soprano thing. So, you may suspect that your boyfriend / girlfriend is cheating on you, but unless you have hard evidence, then don't just assume that you are correct. Look for the hard evidence, then assume that you're correct, then kill them. Magnification and minimization. It's where you blow something out of all proportion, basically. If a little teeny tiny bad thing happens, you make it like it's the end of the world. And the reverse is true. If something really nice happens, you just sort of brush it off. Yeah, that's not so good for your whole brain and your whole way of thinking. Good things happen, enjoy the good things. Bad things happen, accept them for what they are. Your best bet would actually be to do the opposite. So if a bad thing happens, minimize it. If a good thing happens, maximize it. So that whole thing about when I used to do this is a little good mental trick that you might want to do. It's a self-confidence trick, where you think of a time in your life where you felt absolutely fucking fantastic, and you picture that in your brain on like a TV, and you gradually turn up the volume, and you turn up the colour, and you turn up the saturation until this big thing is so loud in your fucking head, it's all that you can think about, and you march out there thinking that you're king of the world, when really you're not. What's next? Mind reading. It's kind of similar to one of the other ones that I mentioned, but it's when you presume to know what another person is thinking. So you may be in the company of a person, another human being, and they may or may not be thinking, you're a bit of a wanker, really. Well, wait until they tell you that you're a bit of a wanker before thinking that you know it. I do this all the fucking time. People meet me and I just think they dislike me. That is my default go-to setting. They dislike me. Why should I think that? I've not even pissed on their feet or anything. It's just a general thought that I have that these people dislike me. I probably think that you dislike me, but if you've got this far in the fucking video, you probably don't. Or maybe you're one of those idiotic people that wastes your fucking life watching videos about people that you don't even fucking like. Twat. So don't do that. Overgeneralization. I've just noticed I spelt the word generalization wrong. I've missed out an E. I don't do that often, and that is an anti-ungeneralization, I think. It's things like, I always mess things up. You go out on a date, it doesn't work out. I'm always going to be single. All that kind of stuff. It's not true. It's kind of the black and white thinking thing with different words and slightly different outcomes. You'll never get a job. That falls into that category. You get the idea. Personalization. Oh my god, this is such an ego-driven crock of shit, this one. I don't like this one. I don't like egos. People probably think that I have an ego, and I have an ego to an extent whereby I want the world to know that I existed, because otherwise, what's the fucking point of being here? Because, you know, don't believe in that or that. But I don't like the ego where people go around thinking that the whole world revolves around them, and this is basically what this is. The whole world revolves around you. Well, you know, guess what, Sparky? It fucking doesn't. So yeah, if your partner is in a bad mood, you automatically think that it's your fault. It's that kind of thinking, which doesn't sound as bad as what I made it sound. But it's leaping to conclusions that have no basis in reality. So yeah, knock that on the head. Projection. This is where you do some like Derren Brown shit, and you think that you are projecting your own thoughts on another person that you are interacting with. You're predicting the negative outcome of an event that has not happened yet. It's similar to one of the other things. Again, like I said, I think when they made up this list, I think by the time they got to the end, they were kind of running out, but they had a cool word and they wanted to use the words, and it was just like, well, we could do this and just make this little tiny fucking distinction, and people will think we're clever. Using should statements. What is a should statement? They are things like should, ought, must. I must achieve this goal by such and such an age. People should be nice to me all the time. They shouldn't. I ought to be a success by now. That kind of thing. I can relate to all of them because I use should statements all the fucking time. And I shouldn't. I should not use should statements. Is that a double negative? Does that cancel it out? I really do not know. Goals are a target, but they are a moving target. Just remember that. Oh blimey, that's your lot. Well, there you go. I'm not a trained psychologist, so whether or not you decide to listen to absolutely anything that I say is entirely up to you. But the thing is, I've had problems in the old head area for a long time now. So I've spent a lot of time looking into it. Not like literally, not into it like that, but just read books, basically. And I kind of know stuff. So if you are new to the whole bad head thing, or you have a friend slash relative partner who also has a bad head thing, or just has a bad head thing, this may help give you a slight insight into it. Okay, well, that's your lot for today, you person. Watch again, I guess. Give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to leave a comment below, then please do, and share it with people, because that would be a nice thing to do. Okay, ta-ta! Ah, too late. Oh, this makes me hungry. When's a good time for a sandwich? Whoa, shit. Dead nuns, dead nuns, dead nuns. No, damn it. Dead babies, dead babies.